Beer O'Clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. And what if I was to tell you that each one of these beers behind me is less than £2, with some of them starting at £1.39. There might even be one. Let's have a quick look here. The Love Lane. The Love Lane. Now this is a beer that is part of Home Bargains now, but it's 4.6% ABV, and that's coming in at £1.19 for a 440 milliliter, 4.6% ABV Baltic lager from Liverpool. So each one of these beers behind me, let me move out of the way so you can see them. The most expensive beer here, interestingly, is the Mythos. Now the Mythos is £1.89 a bottle, 500 milliliter, but it's still less than £2. The DAB Dortmund Export is in a 660 milliliter bottle, 5% ABV, and that's coming in at, other receipt, 1 second. Oh, that was £2.29, my mistake. So £2.29, there was one bottle over £2. This is being the most expensive, but then again, you're getting 660 ml, over 500 millilitres of beer there, the rest being 500 ml. So I won't go through each individual beer and their prices. I'll just show you the 10 beers that I have. Picked them all up in Home Bargains, and I think this is where Home Bargains is very, very strong with their beer, is these export beers they get for ridiculous pricing, very, very cheap pricing. Some of them are very unusual as well. You'll only get these beers in Home Bargains. So beers like Tuborg Ficky Draft, look at that unusual bottle there. 100% malt lager, 5% ABV, shaped like an old beer glass. Efes Draft, that's shaped wonderfully well, that bottle. 5% ABV. And then this is a little treasure of a beer, this one. Peroni Red, 100% malt lager, £1.25. The Tuborg was £1.49. The Efes was £1.69. Incredible pricing. So, without further ado, let's roll my sleeves up and let's start cracking some beers. Let's start with the Love Lane. Being a Home Bargains beer, own beer company. Oh. So I'll be very quick with this. Home Bargains, the company, is it TJ Morris? They bought Love Lane Brewery in Liverpool. So they started to produce the beers, the Love Lane beers for Home Bargains. There you go, nice looking beer, one finger white head, good levels of carbonation, slightly hazy looking beer. Let's get the aroma. Perfectly fine. Little zesty, little stinging nettle-like. Let's have a sip. £1.19 a can. Lovely. Zesty, in a sort of lemon and lime way. Crisp, refreshing, nicely carbonated. Pretty decent beer, that. It will be very interesting to try all of these beers and come back to the Love Lane Lager, just to see how it holds up. Some of the beers might be much better than the other beers. We'll find out shortly. Next up, let's go Poland. This is a can of Tyskie. Now, you can pick this up in lots of other supermarkets. But for a 5% ABV beer, what is Tyskie? It's on the other, must be the other beer on the... Oh, I don't know, it's somewhere. About £1.40, I think this was, off the top of my head. Polish lager. Golden coloured beer on the pour. Golden coloured lager. I don't think this is an all malt lager. I would say the Love Lane beer definitely was. You could definitely taste the grain in that beer. Tyskie, probably being a mainstream brand now in Poland, probably uses maize or rice or corn. Let's have a look as we get the aroma. No, water, barley, malt, hops and hop extract. There you go. One finger whitehead. Golden amber coloured beer, good levels of carbonation. The aroma is a little bit less than the Love Lane, to be honest. It's just lacking a little bit. Mass-produced lager, I imagine. Let's get in. Cheers, everybody. Yeah, a bit sweet, that. Bit sweet, bit syrupy. Not much of a biting bitterness like in the Love Lane Baltic Lager. The Love Lane Baltic Lager is much better than this. Let's sip each one. So we'll go Tyskie first. Very sweet. No bitterness. Love Lane. Much better. It's that biting bitterness you get from the Love Lane. And again, let's not forget, that's going to be the cheapest beer on this ticket. £1.19. And it's pretty damn tasty. Carry on watching though, because there are some excellent beers in this collection that I've picked up. Where should we go next? Shall we go a bit expensive to the higher end? Should we try the Mythos? Green glass bottle. Hopefully there's no skunkiness in here. 5% ABV. £1.89 I think this was. Yeah, £1.89 for the Mythos. There we go. Ooh. I'm gonna go with it. We got a bit of etching on the bottom of this glass, so it might create that's okay actually. Probably needs it. Needs that etching. Okay, so there's the Mythos. We got a one finger whitehead, good levels of carbonation. Kind of golden, clear beer, golden coloured. Lots of mixed carbonation between large carbonation and small carbonation. Aroma. Ooh! Why is this on the expensive side? Oh, that's skunky. That is skunky beer. You get a sense of the malt though. It does have like a crisp malt aroma, but it's the skunkiness. That green glass bottle is doing this beer no favours whatsoever. I'll be quick with it. It's light strike, so the hops in the beer get affected by that green glass bottle. The light from the sun, the light from fluorescent lights hits that green glass bottle, penetrates it, and changes the hops from tasting really lovely and floral to something, well, a little bit skunky. Changes the beer completely. Some people say Heineken tastes different from the bottle to the cask or keg. It does, because the keg never sees any sunlight. Whereas that green glass bottle does with Heineken, or Carlsberg for that matter. Cheers. Oh, that's worse than the Tyskie. That is just a skunky mess of a beer. £1.89. There's definitely better beers out there, and I point back to the Love Lane. Using the Love Lane as a reference because it's the best beer so far, and it's the cheapest. That's decent stuff. Not a fan. I'll have one more taste of the Mythos, but I'm not a fan of this at all. Straight away, it's that. This sort of beer is the sort of beer I dread. You turn up at a party, you have a look at the bar, say it's a party in a pub, you have a look what's on the bar and you go, oh, I've got to drink that all afternoon. We've all been there. We've all been there, and that would be the beer for me, Mythos. If I had to drink that all afternoon, it would almost ruin the party. It would almost be enough for me to go, oh man, I'm going home. It's awful, awful, watery, kind of 5% ABV, but watery and thin and skunky and overly carbonated. That is not my type of beer at all. I'm going to give myself a break from the green glass bottle for a moment. I'm going to go over to, well, I'm going to go over to something which I know is very good because I feel like I deserve it. This is a little charmer of a beer. Peroni Red, 4.7% ABV, produced in Italy, brown glass bottle. The Italians do not drink the green glass bottle Peroni Azzurri that we drink here in the UK. The Italians drink this. And this is in Home Bargains for £1.25 a bottle. This is a super little beer. I went to Naples in February. My wife wanted to go to Pompeii, so we stayed in Naples. We stayed in Pompeii, but Naples was the biggest city. We ended up going to Naples for a couple of times. We had a meal in Naples and it's pretty decent. But yeah, long story short, everybody was drinking the Peroni Red. One finger whitehead, slow moving carbonation, lovely all malt lager. Golden in colour, quite clear, aroma. Yeah. Decent. Decent. You definitely get that malt, that 100% malt aroma. It's a little biscuity. Beer's nice and hoppy. A little bit of stinging nettle in there. Let's dive in. Cheers. Perfect. A beauty of a beer, this. A beauty of a beer. It really is. It's a little if you travel to Italy, you will know that the Italians drink this beer. It's a little kind of secret in the lager beer industry that Peroni Red is the beer that the Italians drink. What you should do, if you're a fan of the green glass bottle UK Peroni, the one with the white label, buy a bottle of that and put it next to a Peroni Red from Home Bargains. Do a side by side, drink them both. And tell me what you think. Oh, this is a smashing lager. Much, much better than the Mythos. Okay. I'm going to bounce back and forth with the green glass bottles. I've got two more. I've got a Lucky beer from China, Lucky Buddha, 4.8% ABV, and a DAB Dortmunder export beer. Let's go with the Chinese bottle beer first. Now, no, it's not this one, is it? I was just thinking about Ting Tao. Now, Ting Tao has an interesting story, being a Chinese beer. Because Ting Tao used to have a lot of Germans living in that part of China, and they built a brewery, and they showed the Chinese how to brew beer. It could look better, couldn't it? It's a lovely bottle, lovely looking bottle, but the beer could look better, couldn't it? The head has dissipated really quickly. A little bit of carbonation. Looks a bit dull, doesn't it? How much was the Lucky beer? £1.49. £1.49 for a 330 millilitre bottle. Probably an ideal Christmas present if you want to purchase a beer for somebody who likes the look of different bottles. Oh, but again, skunky. Excuse me. Little sweet, little skunky, a little syrupy. Let's dive in. Cheers. Oh, that is a sweet beer. Syrupy, I could get it in the aroma. Get that kind of syrupy sweetness coming through. Again, if you're a lover of sweet beers, you may well like this. I'm averse. I'm like, oof, I'm super sensitive with sweet beer. So perhaps my tendencies to literally try not to drink any sweet beer has led me down this path of, when I do get a sweet beer, I'm almost like, oh, get it away from me. It's very sweet. And I find a really sweet beer like this really kind of artificial tasting. Syrupy glucose syrup. You can taste it. It's awful. Not for me. We're getting through these though, aren't we? Right. Let's try a decent one now. Now then. Ficky. Another Secret by Tuborg. Tuborg is I believe it's a Danish company, but this isn't brewed in Denmark. This is brewed in Turkey. I believe it might be brewed at the Efes brewery in Turkey. Maybe. Water, malt, hops and yeast. 5% ABV. Lovely looking bottle. 100% all malt lager. Let's get it open. But this is another one of those little kind of secret beers. Us beer reviewers, I suppose. Beer drinkers people who want tick stuff on maybe Untapped for the last few years. We kind of know. We're in the know. We know what to buy. We don't. It's a bit like somebody who works in a tyre garage. They're always going to have the best tyres on their car, aren't they? Us beer drinkers who like to try lots of different beers know where to go that is relatively cheap and the beer is pretty decent. And this falls under that category, it really does. One finger white head, good levels of carbonation, amber, golden amber coloured beer in the glass. Let's get the aroma. Yeah. Crispy, malty, slightly dry. Good soft water. Little stinging nettle-like. Yeah, smells good that. No glucose syrup in here. 100% all malt lager. That. Oh, I'm going to have to put this up against the Love Lane. Because that is superb. The Love Lane's winning at the moment. Tuborg. Tuborg Ficky. Love Lane Baltic Lager. They're both good, all in their own right. They're good. I would say the Baltic Lager from Love Lane has a little bit more bitterness. It's a little bit more New World. It's a little bit more hop-centric. It's clean, it's tidy. The Love Lane's very good. But so is this Ficky. I'd say this Ficky is... Let's try the Ficky against the Peroni Red. Starting to fill up with lager now. I get to this stage when I do big tastings like this. I start burping and I start getting a bit full up. Ficky. Beautiful. Peroni Red. Ficky. It's just a slightly different level of beer. It's just got that slight elevation of quality. Is that all? Now they're proud. They're proud to write 100% all malt lager on their bottle cap. And these companies, they don't do that for fun. Pardon me. They don't write 100% all malt lager on their bottle caps for fun. It's because they know it's going to be a damn good beer, being 100% all malt lager. It's going to be a damn good beer. That's the reason why that's on the bottle cap. No other reason. It's like a seal of quality. When you see 100% all malt lager, buy it. The sweet beers with glucose syrups in, they're no good. They're the beers that give you a thunderous hangover. If you want a thunderous hangover, drink some glucose beer, some sweet, syrupy glucose beer. If you want to wake up with a clean head, drink the 100% all malt lager. That is smashing from Ficky. And again, you can pick that up. Tuborg Ficky, I should say. You can pick that up in home bargains currently in November 2024 for £1.49 a bottle. I remember 2 years ago when I first found this beer, I was paying £1 a bottle for it. £1 a bottle. I would clear the shelves on the supermarket into my trolley, and I'd take the lot home at £1 a bottle. It was fantastic. This day and age, prices have gone up quite a lot, haven't they? £1.49, still a fantastic, great value for money beer. Let's go back to the green glass stuff. I don't want to carry on treating myself and then like hitting problems. DAB Dortmunder Export. Green glass bottle. This might be okay. This is a German beer. This might be. I don't even have to read this, do I? Oh, hang on a minute. Hang on. There's no actual. There's no British ingredients on here. They're all foreign. A foreign language, I should say. Aqua, water, malto, malt, lupulo hops. It looks like hop extract, extracto de lupo, hop extract, yes. But yeah, no English on here. DAB. Borussia Dortmund beer. There we go. Now, importantly, there's no skunky smell. Nothing. No skunkiness in the air. I poured it quite rigorously. No skunkiness whatsoever. One finger whitehead. Amber beer in the colour, good levels of carbonation, clear looking beer. It was the most expensive beer, but it had the most contents. It was a 660 millilitre bottle. It was £2.29. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. Malty, grainy, a little bit of sweet from the malt in the beer, but the malt is 100% malt. I'm not going to say that this is kind of hot glucose syrup at all. Oh, that's good. The Germans know what they're doing, don't they? The Germans just know. Oh, it's a fantastic quality lager, that. Really good. It's got all the benefits of that Tuborg Ficky, but it has this kind of, it's got a little bit more hop character to it. It's got a little bit more of that stinging nettle, spicy, peppery bitterness coming through. Oh, that surprised me. That surprised me because I was thinking, nothing's really going to beat the Ficky. I had the Ficky down as the favourite. This is just as good. I'm a little bit up to my gills in beer at the moment, so I'm not gonna, I'll get back to it. I'll compare them. I'll try and get a burp out first. But we'll move on to the next beer for a moment. What have we got left? 2. We got 3 beers to go. I do that when I'm full up too. Quilmes, beer from Argentina. Now, I'm standing here making this wonderful video from beer from Turkey to Argentina to Germany. It's wonderful, isn't it? Poland, UK. It's wonderful that you can turn up, you can rock up at Home Bargains with 20 quid. 20 quid? 10 beers. Hang on a minute. £2. Let's average them out at £2. £2 for 5. Yeah, it's going to be less than 20 quid. This lot here. Less than 20 quid. Go to the pub with 20 quid. I want to support the pubs as much as I possibly can. But where I live in this land, I did a pubs and bars of Bridgend, Cowbridge and Landsford Major recently. And I had a few comments saying, oh, Madry's everywhere, isn't it? Madry is everywhere. It's like Madryland where you live. It is, unfortunately. It's like Madryland. So as much as I want to support the pubs, I don't really want to support Madry. So if you're in a position where maybe you can't afford to go to the pub, but you can afford 20 quid. Look at this behind me. Argentina beer. One finger, white head, good levels of carbonation. Lots of carbonation actually. Amber coloured lager, very clear to look at. Aroma. It smells okay. I'm going to say there's maize or maybe corn in here though. This doesn't smell like an all malt lager. Now there's some maize, there's some corn here maybe. It's just a bit, I find beers, and I mean this with the greatest of respects, beers that are made with maize or corn, I find them very bland, because they're supposed to be bland. Because if you eat maize is quite a bland thing. If you eat corn is quite a bland thing. Rice is, again, think of a bowl of boiled rice. It's bland, isn't it? It might be brewed with rice. We'll have a look. That's okay. That's okay. It's a bit glucosey. It is a bit. I can tell straight away. It's a bit syrupy. That might be the corn, that might be the maize, but maybe there's some glucose here. I brewed a beer with a brewer once and he went, right, let's put the secret ingredient in. I was like, whoa, what are you doing? What are you doing? Don't do that. He said, it's brewing syrup. I was like, what's brewing syrup? Yeah, I know now. I was a bit wet behind the ears back then. But now I know what brewing syrup is. It's glucose, isn't it? It was a horrible, dirty tank as well. I looked at this tank, big, massive tank, and it was this horrible, they hadn't cleaned it in like years. It was this dirty, horrible tank that stood up in the sky, full of glucose syrup. I should have pushed it over, shouldn't I? Ah, pushed it over. You're not using that. It's okay. Is there... It might be all in. Oh my goodness me, my eyes these days. You know, they told me I didn't need glasses. They told me I still had 20/20 vision. I can't see a thing. I can't see a thing of that. I'm just going to guess that it's got a little bit of glucose syrup in it. Let's move on. Last two beers. Let's do Efes Draft. 5% ABV. Again, a beer that's been brewed in Turkey. Probably very similar to the Tuborg. Had a screw cap on it as well. You always know a screw cap because it's more difficult to get the cap off. Oh, it's like a Czech pour, isn't it? Let's knock that carbonation out. They had talking about Czech beer, there were beers in home baggings that I didn't pick up. They had Budvar. But I chose like 10 Quirky beers, if you like. You can buy Budvar in most supermarkets. You can't really buy Efes Draft in every supermarket. So I just thought, this is a video to show different lagers that are very good. A lot of them are very good. There are a couple of ropey ones. But the majority of these beers are very, very good. And they're very cheap. This is the point of this video. Have I made my point with that? They're very cheap beers. For this day and age. Two Finger Whitehead. Good levels of carbonation. Amber, clear beer in the glass. Oh, the beer's starting to come through. Ooh. Gonna have to break the seal soon. I'll tell you what, I'll do the last one, give my final verdict, and then I'll break the seal. Yeah, this is all malt lager too from Efes. I do like an Efes, I really do. Freezing cold. Quite brilliant. I'm going to put that up against the Tuborg because they're both brewed in Turkey. Tuborg Ficky. Oh God, that is so good. That is so good. Efes Draft. Tuborg. Efes. Ooh. There's something in the Efes that's making me wince a little bit. The Tuborg Ficky is much more palatable. It's a much more, pardon me, easy drinking beer. There's something not quite right with the Efes. I'm trying to work out what it is. Oh. The attack of the carbonation. What is it, Efes? I think it's a bit, ingredients: water, malted barley, hops, CO2, yeast. Drink cold. Protect from sunlight. Never seen that before. Protect from sunlight. So it's only malted barley, hops and yeast and water. There's something in here. There's something in here that it's just making me wince a little bit. I think it's just a little bit sweet. I think that's all it is. It's just a little bit sweet. Last but not least, this is a beer that's launched into home bargains recently. I've never heard of it. It's German beer, 4.8% ABV, 500 milliliter can. I'm going to do a full separate review of this, but as I'm looking at quirky beers in home bargains, I couldn't leave it out. So, oh, I need a wee. I really need a wee now. Oh. You didn't need to hear that, did you? But, you know, as with all of my videos, we are as honest as it comes on this channel. Because what's the point otherwise? Can you imagine being a newsreader on the television? Going, oh, hang on a minute, I'm going to get up and have a wee. Wouldn't it be great if they did that? They'd just become a little bit more normal. Rather than, like, you know, the world's a bit false, isn't it? I'm not a false person, I'll tell you. Yeah, I've drank some beer. I need to go for a bit. Conx Gold Germany. German purity law. Where is this? What is this? Where is it from? It's got a weird feeling about this. It's like trying to hide behind something. And I want to find out what it's hiding behind. I'm going to do some research on this before I do my proper review, because it just, you know, when beers are like, they're talking about the purity law and the, you know, Germany across the front, and you're trying to find out who brews this beer. It just says produced in Germany. I'm a bit suspect on this. I'm just wondering if it's brewed for home bargain. I wouldn't blame home bargains at all. I wouldn't blame them for doing that. £1.39. £1.39 for a 4.8% ABV German lager. Right, what's going on? One finger whitehead. Good levels of carbonation. Amber beer in the glass. Aroma, yeah, it's okay. It's got that kind of German mustiness, like when you drink a cheaper German beer. Every beer has to comply with the German purity law, so it has to be brewed with just malt, hops, yeast and water, but it has that kind of mustiness about it. But it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good German beer. Maybe I'm being a little bit, I mean, it's my job too, isn't it? I see a cheap price, £1.39 for a 500 milliliter can. German beer I've never really heard of. And I'm like, what's going on here then? And it's just got produced in Germany. It's like, there's no name of the brewery. It's a bit like buying a Rheinbacher from Aldi or a Perlenbacher from Lidl. You think they're German. At least this has got produced in Germany on it, so it will be a German beer. It's very nice. I suspect that home bargains have contract brewed this for themselves. That's what I'm thinking. And I don't blame them at all. I've come to a conclusion here. Pardon me. I haven't drunk all 10 beers, but I've drank 10 beers. I'm allowed to burp. My conclusion is that I think the man who owns Home Bargains, Mr. TJ Morris, if that's him, has an interest and a love affair with beer. And I think he's got a lot right over the years. He really has. And then I think he went down that craft beer route of trying to produce or trying to get cheap craft beer in, and it was just horrendous. It was horrible, and it just didn't work. But I think Mr. Home Bargains, if you're watching, has learned an awful lot about the beer industry since he's been involved in it. And you can see the fruits of Mr. Home Bargains' labour by the two beers that you can see on the supermarket shelf. This Conx Gold Lager from Germany for £1.39 is a fantastic price point and a pretty decent beer. It competes with most of these beers behind me. As does this, the cheapest beer at £1.19. £1.19, Love Lane Baltic Lager. The first beer I opened on this journey. Yeah, this competes. This still stands up. So I think the journey that Mr. Home Bargains has been on is beginning to bear fruit. He is finding this very difficult being able to produce a pretty decent beer for a very good price point. That's what we all want. We want decent beer at a decent price point. And I think he's found it. I think that the Love Lane for the price point for £1.19 is a decent beer. It really is. It may not be the winner. The Conx Gold, which I probably suspect has something to do with Home Bargains as a contract brewed beer, is a pretty decent beer. But for £1.19, don't turn your nose up at this. But I'm going to say, I keep returning to this, the Tuborg Ficky. I keep returning to it because it's such a good quality product for the price. Yeah. The Conx Gold is very good. The DAB is very, very good. It really is. But I'm going to declare my winner. I've enjoyed this beer for years. It's just my cup of tea. When a brewery writes all malt lager on their bottle cap and they produce a beer of this quality for £1.49, I mean, it's great. And I hope they never change the recipe. I hope that this recipe here in this glass, under this name, in this bottle, stays the same forever, because this is almost the perfect lager. I mean, for goodness sake, it's beaten off a couple of German lagers here. This is a beer brewed in Turkey. It's fantastic. I'm going to use the toilet now. Thanks for watching. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.